What's up, wig splitters? 8-week challenge time. Starting January 1st to February 26th, we're gonna reward the best transformations, men or women. You're gonna get rewarded. 5 G's first place, second place 1,500. Then we're gonna do 5 runner-ups for some yard time. Go to wigsplitterworkout.com for all the details. Let's get in the best shape of your life and go split some wigs. What's up, everybody? Big Herc, fresh out. You guys are tuned into another one of our interviews. I want to say thank you for all the support. Thanks for subscribing. You know, we try to give you guys the dopest interviews possible. Well, we have a fellow YouTuber here, Jessica Kent, and yes, she's been through the system and she has a story to tell. So we were fortunate enough to get her to come out here to LA to do an interview. So, hey, you guys check it out and get laced up. So Jessica, tell the people a little bit about where you're from and how you grew up.
Yeah, first off, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, man. But I'm from upstate New York, really small town, like you've never heard of it, I promise. And it's riddled with drugs. It's a very gray, sad little town. And I grew up kind of poor. Once I started to realize that, oh shit, we're poor, I wanted to make money. And that's kind of just how my life led to drugs. I just saw a way out, and to make quick money, I started selling a little bit of weed. That turned into pills. That turned into heroin, you know? And the crazy thing is I never saw a problem with that. I always thought like, oh, I'm making money. I can help my mom buy groceries. So for me, like, the whole thought of going to prison didn't affect me. I thought eventually I'll go. It's just part of the lifestyle. And I had already at 12, 13 years old accepted, you're going to prison. You know, I saw my cousins go to prison. It was just a very normal thing. It wasn't like, oh my God, you better stop. You better stop doing that because you're gonna end up in jail or prison. And for me, it was just like, if it happens, it happens. I already knew how to prepare myself for that at 12 and 13.
So was the streets a big influence as far as like the people around you, or was it more or less like family members that you seen doing things that got you involved in the streets?
Right, so no strangers walk up to kids and say, hey, you want to try some heroin? Like, that doesn't happen. For me, you know, it was kind of the party scene, but it was really just me. I can't blame my environment for it. It was, I saw you can make a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there, and I just have that go-get-it, hustler, what is now entrepreneur mentality. So I don't want to blame the environment, blame, you know, the streets. It was just poverty, and I thought the worst thing in the world was to be poor.
Yeah.
That was so much worse than prison. That was so much worse than drug addiction or the devastation and the horrors of addiction. It didn't even cross my mind, you know? So I had this idealistic view like, oh, be a kingpin, be George Young, be this person. And I wanted to employ my friends, and I wanted to come up out of it, you know, and along the way, I developed an addiction, very serious addiction. So I started using weed and then pills, and I thought, just, you know, set this aside, that's what you can use. Set this aside, that's what you gotta make. You gotta make your re-up back, you gotta, you know, pay for this, pay for that. So, you know, it just kind of steamrolled. My addiction got worse, made less and less money as the years progressed, and the person that I thought I was gonna be, I was nothing like that. I was an angry, hostile, arrogant little shit that thought I was gonna make everyone around me rich, but like the reality of it was I was sick. I was really sick. I was caught up in a heroin addiction from, I mean, it started with pills, but from about 16, 17. And I started shooting heroin at 18. So it was just a really rough road for me.
And what was the incident that led to you actually getting incarcerated?
So the first time it was criminal sales of controlled substance. I sold pills to a kid. He overdosed. He was completely fine. You know, he did survive that, thank God. But I was so angry and just I had a chip on my shoulder that I threatened this guy. And I threatened that I was going to kill this guy. You know, I'm selling dope and guns, and this guy is, you know, he snitched on me. So in my mind, I'm like, that's a problem. So of course, I got in even more trouble. He got a restraining order placed on me.
You're a little badass.
I was pretty bad. And I'm just young and stupid. You know, I'm not flexing. I don't think I'm a thug. I don't think I'm a badass. But I was just an angry kid. You know, that's really at the core of what it was. I was a kid. So I got a 1 1/3 to 3 and got a conditional release because I was young. So I went up the first time. And when I came out, I thought, I'm tougher now. Now I have some street cred. Now it's better. And the really sad thing is, you know, prison in New York, I was doing heroin in prison.
Damn.
You know, I didn't go there and get sober or have a change of heart or think, you know, this is a wake-up call. I need to not go to prison. I need to not sell drugs. I had a re-up waiting for me when I got out, you know.
So the drugs are readily available right in prison?
At that time, it was heroin. Now, you know, it's Suboxone. It's the #1 drug in New York prisons right now, Suboxone.
Wow.
It's very tiny. It's just a little strip. It gets in very easily. So I have friends sitting in New York prisons that are strung out on Suboxone.
Wow.
So I know that it does help people and it has some value.
Yeah.
But right now in the New York prison system, it does not help anyone.
So when you got out after that little kind of like wake-up call, did you decide to change up or you ended up going right back after that?
Yeah, so I had a re-up waiting for me when I got out and I went right back into selling. So from 18 to 23, it was just on. I was getting $30,000 re-ups. I was basically destroying my hometown.
Wow.
You know, I employed 5 people.
Damn.
They ran for me and they were all men. I'm a very small girl and I knew better. I knew better than to run the streets by myself. So my ex-boyfriend was kind of the muscle to my operation. And I would sell guns, I would sell heroin, which at that time was Oxycontin powder. It wasn't heroin. It was a big epidemic in 2010, 2011 in upstate New York. So yeah, I'd basically sell anything I could get my hands on. And it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure on myself. And I started to get really depressed because I kind of could see, like, this is shit. Like, my life is going to shit. My addiction and my boyfriend's addiction and some other people that I was carrying, it cost me to make less and less money, right? So I was getting into debt with a very large person that had threatened my life many times. He picked me up one time. The debt was, you know, around $30,000, $40,000, a whole re-up debt that I just shot up all Christmas long while he's on vacation in Alaska. So he picked me up and I get in the car. He's not saying a word to me. And I just know it's bad. Like, I know as soon as I close the door of this Chrysler 300, I should not have gotten in this car. So I'm like looking around and I don't know where we're going. We're in upstate New York. He's driving on back roads. I'm like, dude, I'm done. Like, he's gonna kill me and leave me on the side of the road. And that was like the first time in my whole life that I was just genuinely scared. You know, like, what did you do? You have no one with you. You're by yourself. You weigh 100 pounds. You don't have a gun. You have nothing on you. This guy's gonna kill you. So he took me to this awful hotel. There was 2 other guys there and he told me to sit down. And I sat down and he was yelling at me in my face about this money and I said, I'll make it up. You know, and I went to stand up to try to leave and he hit me in the side of the temple with a gun, just with a Glock 40, just smashed in the side of my head. And I can feel the blood like pouring out of the side of my face. And I remember thinking, like, if he lets me out of here, I'm so lucky. Like, I need to stop. I need rehab. I need something. Because I was scared. I was thinking that. So he, you know, he's kind of laying into me. I have strangers in the corner. They're kind of laying into me. And then he leaves me at this hotel with a mixing bowl full of Oxycontin powder. He tells me to pack it up. He'll come and pick me up in a few hours. Now I am, like, my head's throbbing. I'm in so much pain. I'm trying not to cry because I don't want to be that person crying, you know, even though I feel how bad it is. And I do what he said, and I bagged up all this shit, which is a very normal thing for us. He would pay me some money to bag up everything. It takes hours. So, you know, heroin sold in wax bags. So I would, like, get carpal tunnel almost, bagging up all this stuff. I'd have tape running all around hotel tables, kind of like this, so tape all the way across. And I'd sit there with a scoop and scoop and scoop and scoop for a long time. And I was doing that and I was feeling very dizzy because I just got hit so hard. I'm surprised he didn't knock me out. And I'm dizzy and I'm kind of like falling over because I'm just in so much pain. But I'm like, stop being a little bitch. Like, just get it done. Just get it done. So eventually he comes back. He brings me home and he goes to pull up outside of this bar. Now my boyfriend is frantic. He's pissed. I didn't tell him where I was going. I'd been gone for 6 or 7 hours. And he got some of my friends drunk. Everyone has guns. And my boyfriend goes to walk up to the car because he's going to shoot this car window. I've just been gone for God only knows how long. I say 6 hours, but I was out of it. He was like a millisecond away from pulling that trigger. And I was in the driver's seat. I got out of the driver's side car. And it was a mess, you know? I get out of the car and it's just, he's yelling in my face. Everyone's worried, but they're happy that I'm here. My boyfriend put a gun in my own face because he was just so like, where have you been? It was just, you know, everything had been leading up to this, like this big blowout. And I told him, you know, get the fuck out of my face. And I'm just screaming at him. And I saw how scared he was. But the very next day, I'm right back in it. I'm selling drugs. I'm trying to make up this money. I got my runners trying to make up this money because I don't want to get picked up again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, as soon as I got home that night, I got high and it just went away in my mind.
Everything that
Like,
just happened.
Oh, that sucked. Let's start making this money back, you know? And I remember thinking I need to get out of this life in that hotel because I was so scared. But I sold for at least another year after that. And it was just, you know, I was wearing myself out. I could see how bad my addiction had gotten. I had tracks all up and down my arms, but I had to hide that from my guys because they were not going to sell me shit.
Yeah, they're looking like, yeah, you're a liability.
Yep. So I had to makeup on, fresh clothes. I could not look like I was an addict when I knew that my arms were trash. I mean, it was really rough.
Damn. So you guys made up, you and your supplier, and you started making money again, and then, you know, you said a year later, and then what happened at that year, you know, during that year? I mean.
So it was just it probably wasn't even a year, but it was just an up and down battle of, you know, of fights with people on the street, and like people were kind of trying to take away my connect. You know, they were trying to get at him so that they could get put on, and I kind of had to fight a little bit for my place there, you know, and people knew like my addiction was so rough. My family had to tiptoe around me because they didn't know if I was going to be upset with them. It was just a really toxic environment. Wow. So my debt just kind of went up and down, and this was in New York. So my boyfriend robbed a store. It was armed robbery. Now I'm like, this is too much heat. I need to run. And my mind is, I'm going to go detox in a hotel, and then I'm going to fight the case from the street. And I did that. But what ended up happening is I found myself in Arkansas. Now I'm on the run. I can't get a job. And what do hustlers do? They find the connect and they start selling again.
Yeah.
So this time it was methamphetamine that I was selling. And I learned very quickly, wow, you can do meth and not feel sick. You know, I'm awake, I can sell more, I can, you know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't like a downer that it was gonna make me sick. It was an upper. I can sell dope for 24 hours straight. This is great, it's the best thing ever. It wasn't. I was like 90 pounds and really sick. But in my mind, again, I'm making money. I'm making moves. It's fine. October 20th, 2011, at 4:30 in the morning, I got ripped out of a car leaving a gas station. Guys in my face, guns, and cops pulled us over and took me out of the car. So I got charged with 2 ounces of meth, delivery of meth, and a gun charge. Yeah, and this was in Arkansas, so I'm a New Yorker. Arkansas state law makes 0 sense. I don't understand it at all. If I was doing time in New York, I could tell you, depending on your background and the charges, exactly what you're gonna do. I can tell you the sentence, I can tell you everything. I can tell you what intake is like, I can tell you what your lawyer's gonna say, like I just know. Arkansas is a different ballgame. So it was actually an investigation of 27 people, and I even got a call months before my arrest telling me to back up. You know, everyone's getting
random
popped.
Call?
From my homeboy in jail.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, everyone's getting popped. I heard your name, heard your dude's name. Just stop. Just stop. I'm like, I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. Like, okay, no. So, you know, I was shocked. I was scared. I knew I was going to go to prison. But this time, people are just spitting out numbers at me. 30 years, 20 years. This is what you're facing in the South. Like, you think you know something about the South. You don't. And I'm like, okay, bitch, I hear you. So the drug task force interrogated me a few times, 3 or 4 times. And they're telling me the same thing, you know, your co-defendant just signed a 30-year plea. But in Arkansas, that doesn't mean 30 years.
Yeah, they're trying to get you to break.
Right.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, he just served 8. He actually just got out a couple of weeks ago. So I'm like, I'm not signing anything. I'm not signing shit. You didn't read me my rights. I mean, I'm just going over everything of the arrest.
So they're assuming you know nothing, like you're just a lame.
Right. I mean, I'm a little girl. I'm a small little white girl. Like, they just assumed that
Intimidation.
I don't know. So I'm like, take me back to my cell, take me back to my cell. Every time they would interrogate me, you know, and my first plea was a 20-year plea. And in Arkansas, I would have done either a half of my time because the gun charge was serious, or a third of my time. Does that make any sense at all? Like, no, it doesn't. So I'm trying to understand this, but they wouldn't give me legal books. My public defender thought I was a thug. So in New York, I could just sign out a legal book in county jail and I could read up on it. Arkansas was like, do you know where the fuck you are? I'm not giving you a legal book.
So you don't have to have access to the legal library?
None. There is no legal library. There's no library.
Wow.
You know, I didn't read a book for like 6 months fighting my case. So the first plea was 20 years with 20 suspended or some shit like that. And I just said, I'm not fucking signing that. Get it out of my face. So for 4 months, I was a little nervous about this 20-year plea hanging over my head. And then my lawyer came back and said, we can get this plea. It's 10 years. You'll do half. And I'm like, I can do 5 years. I can do 5 years, but I'm not fucking signing that because you just took this and chopped it in half. So I'm going to wait it out.
Yeah, this is like too fishy.
Right. So I'm just going to wait it out. And 6 months later, my lawyer came back and he offered me 5 years. And I thought, give me that pen. Like, give me that pen. I'll sign that. You know, 5 years and I'll serve half. That's amazing. At this time, I was also pregnant. So when I got arrested, I was 3 weeks pregnant. I had no idea. No idea. So I remember the county jail nurse telling me that I was pregnant. And I'm like, you got the wrong one. Like, I'm not pregnant. You must have mixed up that with someone else. Like, I'm not pregnant. And she's like, okay. Now keep in mind, I was an addict as well. So I would sit like this at all times, like trying to cover my arms. When she told me you're pregnant, like my arms just dropped and I'm like, what? And this nurse, I'll never forget the look on her face. She was like, damn, like, I know how it looks. I know what I looked like. I was 90 pounds, covered in tracks. I'm sure I looked like complete shit. I've been sleeping for 4 days straight in this dirty-ass county jail. So I saw the look on her face, and I honestly wanted to punch her because I was so pissed. You know, I could just feel her judging me, you know, and I'm like, take me back to my cell. It was like the thing I said the most often at that time. I was in denial almost the whole time in county jail that I was even pregnant. I couldn't wrap my head around going to prison pregnant. I can go to prison. How the hell do you go to prison pregnant?